Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to share with you something that if you're not really into the analog or 8-bit gaming, I still think you're going to find it very interesting, a few things that I'm going to share with you here. So when I decided to jump into this world, of course I had to buy a few things. First of all, the console of choice, at least the first one, which I bought the Sega Master System, and I needed a CRT display. Now the problem with these TVs, they are huge, both in terms of the bezels and of course they are very thick. I mean, depth-wise. So I decided to go with a 14-inch CRT TV. That being said, it's unlike LCD displays where you want to get like, I see no pixels or something like that, but here is just lines, of course. You want actually to see this texture. This is actually how games were designed to fit that specific medium. Now, the main question when you jump into retro gaming, why buy CRT? First of all, this is the way they were designed to be played on. Some do it for nostalgic reasons because they want to mimic the same experience as they experienced back then when they were kids and playing on these old TVs. And also because they were designed for that. And if you play a game, for example, directly on a LCD display with a converter, you're going to see that just images look flat. I just want to say that if you see some artifacts and stuff, this is because of the recording. It's not because how it looks. I actually have a better footage, which I'm going to share a bit later on. Now to show you the difference, take a look at this, for example, right? This is a Wonder Boy game. You can see that this is kind of with a filter that mimics a CRT display. All right, so you can see how it looks kind of 3D-like because of the textures, everything kind of blend in, looks smooth. And we're going to switch back and forth so you can see the difference. Very easy to do on the switch because of the filter, so I can just turn it on and off. Look at the trees, the gradients, the character, sky, everything. It just kind of adapt. You're going to see the difference now significantly when I just turn it off. Everything just starts looking totally flat. This adds lots of depth to it, lots of that. I mean, some depth to it, and this is without. And back then, the way they designed the colors and everything is just to fit the medium. So this is why when you see it on LCD, it just looks something different. Sometimes it doesn't even complement the game. The game just doesn't look interesting enough. Here, for example, the tree looked kind of rounded, and when you turn it off, it just looks kind of flat. And even the entire sky area is just flat one solid color compared to if you turn it on, you're going to see it kind of has like volume. And in many games that brought to the modern console, you have different filters, like when you choose, for example, around the corners to kind of mimic the feeling of a regular CRT TV. And there are many other settings you can play with different type of variations of scanlines to mimic certain TVs. So you get like something that you're going to be, satisfied with. But there's also something with when you play on the speakers for the TV, and the TV itself just give this, this original feeling of playing the game like it's supposed to be played back then. Now, of course, you can understand that import something like that if you can't find locally in your areas can be a bit problematic. And even if you get it, you might not get it with the original control like I did. So for example, I just wanted to increase the brightness. I just couldn't with this remote control. I could get to the settings, I just couldn't move the arrows. It's impossible. So this was an issue because I wanted to increase the brightness. How do I do that? You can increase saturation, contrast as well. Now there is an option to do it on the TV. Now some, of course, TVs might have an easier solution. And there are different ones. The best one for me was actually finding an app that can do that. Because I had the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, I have IR Blaster, so I was lucky. So actually I have a built-in Mi Remote app, but this one actually didn't work well. I actually found another third-party app, which is called IR Plus for Android. For tons of companies, different models. It doesn't have to be the exact model that you have. Actually try different ones and eventually something works. Sometimes you're going to mix and match. Like you're going to turn on this app in this remote, and another remote you're going to find something you can actually move and use the arrows in order to control the setting. So for example, what worked for me with the control with the arrows was the Sony RM836. It's not my TV, but it just fit, it worked. So if you do have that, this can work. Of course, you can buy even a physical one that might work, but it's very hard with very old CRT TVs. This is the remote I got with. Again, I can change channels and change to the input for the Sega Master System and increase the volume, but the other thing just didn't work. The other thing is image quality, and supposedly there's a huge difference, and this is the one I actually came with, which is Composite to SCART adapter, often called the SCART block. It takes basically yellow plug, composite video, and white plug, the audio from your console cables, in this case Sega Master System, and routes those signals into the SCART plug to feed into the TV. By the way, my TV has a SCART plug. Now I'm showing more details in a moment, again, and ignore of course all the artifacts here. This is again because of the recording. So basically it just passes low quality composite signal through a SCART port. So composite video mix all color and brightness data into a single wire. And this of course can cause blurry edges, dot qual, kind of shimmering pixels, washed out colors. And the thing is that the Sega Master System is capable of outputting a much higher quality signal called RGB. So how do you get it? Well, you need to buy a dedicated Sega Master System RGB SCART cable. And then the cable connects directly from your console to the TV using separate wires for red, green, and blue. So the image will appear sharp, the colors vibrant, and the pixels, well, let's call it pixels, distinct, so no more blur. So I have to admit it actually looked nice even without it. Once I connect it, I understood. So I researched and went to Reddit, and many people recommend going to retrogamingcables.co UK, and this is the cable, Sega Master System Mega Drive RGB SCART Pack Punch Pro cable. So if you go to the official website, you can find much more information about it. Just so you know that I later changed the thing regarding the aspect ratio. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But you can see superior image quality. The cable output an RGB signal, which provides a much sharper and more colorful picture and standard composite cables. Interference protection. It features the pack a punch shielding, meaning every single wire inside video, audio, and power is individually shielded. This prevents buzzing audio and visual noise on the screen. It also has clean sync signal that uses a C-Sync, composite sync. Instead of standard video sync, this helps eliminate jail bars, faint vertical lines often seen on solid colors, and stabilizes the image on modern upscalers and professional monitors. It has safe voltage levels. The cable has built-in resistors and capacitor to ensure the video and sync signals are at the correct brightness and safety levels for your TV. And compatibility, it was designed specifically for the Sega Master System Model 1 and Mega Drive Genesis Model 1, but it will not work with the Master System Model 2. So this is it. It's coming kind of in the box and the cable, and I connected it to the Sega Master System console. And the results, wow, the results. Well, you can see it here. Ignore, of course, the artifacts of the recording. It looks, of course, much sharper when I see it with my own eyes, but it was just pixel perfect. I mean, as much as I can call it like that. Unbelievable. Beautiful colors. Everything just represented so beautifully on the screen. And you immediately see it. It's like moving from a refresh rate of, I don't know, like 60 to 120. Although again, it's not like, I'm talking about refresh rate, but the feeling that you get once you do the switch. So something still looks good, but if you turn to something that even better, right after, you're going to feel the difference. It's like a TV just got something like the texture of it feels like almost physical, almost tactile. Right? Again, I'm just very close. If you back away, of course, you still can see it, but it's going to be much less, of course, prominent. But still, you're going to get this beautiful retro look for the game. And it also goes well with Trinitron's kind of native language, RGB, because again, its technology is kind of aperture grills, which uses vertical stripes of red, green, and blue phosphors. So this is how you know, by the way, that you have a Trinitron display. Let's just pause here so you can see the vertical lines. So what you see here in front of you is actually the Trinitron magic. So basically no mesh, basically just the wires. So unlike other TVs that force the image through a sheet of holes, blocking light, or again, you have this kind of a honeycomb pattern of shapes, the Trinitron used just thin vertical wires. This let much more electron energy in the screen, resulting in significantly brighter and more vibrant colors. And what you see here, this is exactly that. This is a real image of the wires on my screen. Just, of course, I just stopped so you can actually see it clearly. So you can see because the colored phosphors are unbroken vertical lines, there are no horizontal gaps to break up the image. Of course, you can, if you, again, the gun controls, of course, how it actually draws, so you can create it, but physically it's just vertical lines from top to bottom. So when you play a game, for example, on the Sega Master System, the console adds scanlines, basically those black gaps, so they slide those vertical stripes cleanly. So this creates this legendary high contrast, thick scanline look that makes pixel art look sharp and defined rather than fuzzy. All right, let's just speed things up just a bit so you can see me trying to get a good close view of that. But now compared to other CRTs, you need to understand that other CRTs, they force the image through a metal sheet full of tiny holes, and this blocks about 70 to 80% of the light from the electron gun. So the image becomes naturally dimmer. Now they also break up the image horizontally and vertically, so these kind of dark scanlines, the black gaps, get a bit lost or kind of look messy because they are cutting across the staggered pattern. And the result is just probably sharpest possible pixel display capable for this TV. This is why kind of looks something before they look a bit smudged into something that's razor sharp pixel art. And I think this is like the way to describe it. I really felt like I'm just playing just a amazing pixel art game. I don't know how to describe, but this is probably the closest I can describe it. And still it was different compared to the LCD display when I played, because there it just was kind of, I don't know, like pixel perfect. And this is because of the technology, the way the technology itself, it doesn't matter how you play it, because the pixels themselves on the screen are just using different technology. So you get something with the CRT that just look, I don't know, more alive, more artistic, more organic. So it's actually perfect because of the imperfection of the technology, of the CRT technology. It has kind of more organic depth to it. It just looks better overall. Like a living, breathing canvas. You can feel like that something is done to generate it, and you just feel it in every single frame that you look at. So it's not like, feels like totally static, like when you play, for example, something with a filter on your LCD display, just because of the underlying technology. Now, I'm not saying that with, again, high resolution displays, you can kind of mimic something like that, but I haven't noticed something that is quite like that compared to what I experienced with the CRT display. This is a video I made. Ignore the colors, again, they're not accurate here because of the recording, but you can see the RGB SCART at the top and the composite with the adapter to SCART at the bottom. Pay attention to the little dots, how they're kind of a bit blurry and how much sharper they are at the top. Same goes to the rocks, and also you can see like the color composition there. Take a look at the barrels at the bottom compared to those at the top there. Overall, its colors were better, it was sharper, and overall better image quality significantly. So I'm just going to freeze the frames. Okay, it's not perfect one. The other one is kind of even a bit zoom in, but you can see the terms of colors, how it represented in terms of sharpness. Just much more detailed image. Yeah, the other thing, by the way, was aspect ratio, but in a click of a button, I was able to kind of solve it because with the SCART just gave like the perfect type of image, even a straight line. Again, because there are also black bars at the top and bottom, but this was because, again, because of the settings, so I needed to just to click it in order to be able to just stretch it properly to 4:3 aspect ratio. Otherwise, kind of stretch in. But it's just a click of a button and it was solved. Yes, overall I was able, I thought that, by the way, I'm going to fail. I'm just going to drop everything because I'm not going to get the right screen, the console won't work, and the cartridge, I don't know, I thought that everything is just going to be a mess. But it turned out great, especially with a few purchases. I also still fascinated that, again, the console, again, Sega Master System in this case, sends again send out signal that say, for example, pixel 1 is blue, pixel 2 is blue, pixel 3 is red, but the TV, again, because it's analog, it doesn't know what pixel is, so it only knows how to draw one continuous horizontal line of light, a scan line from left to right. So it's really cool also to see how this translates to the actual image at the end. And now certain accessories can significantly impact the image quality. It depends also on the technology of your CRT display. Thanks for watching, everybody. Consider subscribing. More videos, retro gaming coming. Cheers.